Hi everyone, welcome to SQL Features. Today I'll teach you guys how to do proxmox snapshots. We're gonna see how to use it, where to use it, when it makes sense. So having said that, let's not waste any more time. Let's get going. So open the browser. So this is the home page, and I'm going to show you in a couple of next videos how to basically build it up. I really love this product. So for now, let's get to the GitHub so you can see the basic code. Media stack. You can see we did 2 videos before, Cloud Init, Docker Ubuntu. Now we are going to play with a snapshot, and this one a simple makefile. It's not makefile, it's a PowerShell script now. So let's go in with that. Now we have our true proxmox installed here, which we'll be using. And as you can see, this is the VM we created Ubuntu Cloud with Ubuntu Cloud Init image, and it's up and running. So let's jump onto our Visual Studio Code. And I have the folder open here, and let's go to our today's episode. So if you have not done it, you can get to the virtualization folder and you can run this command to download the complete Git repository for the project for this particular video series we are doing. Right? If you already downloaded, you can just pull to get the rest of the files. Now let's go to CD Media Stack. We are in our folder. We can see what all we have here. So we have 3 folders: Cloud Init, Docker Ubuntu, and the last one we have this makefile. It's not a real makefile because in Windows it's not working that way. But when we are using in Ubuntu, it's going to help a lot. But the whole goal of this exercise is to everything through command line, right? We don't want to use the GUI for most of the stuff, and we want to expedite our development workflow, right? Deployment workflow as such. So having said that, let's connect to our snapshot proxmox server. We are inside the server. You can run this command to basically take a snapshot, but let's see what all VMs we have. So this is our target VM, 777 VM Media Stack, and today we're going to see how the snapshots are working. So let's check what all the snapshots we have there. At this point, there's no snapshot here. Typically, when you're creating snapshots or playing with the snapshots and working on an important project or even in production, whenever possible, shut down the VM and then do it, right? So I'm gonna stop the VM, and then we'll check the status. Status tabbed, we are good. So we're gonna create a snapshot on this VM called pre-media stack, and I'll explain in a bit how a snapshot works. So now we'll check the snapshot we created, and we can see pre-media stack is there. You can see the date and timestamp. It doesn't have a description. We can add if you want. And now it's in this point. The whole idea is that from this point forward, any changes you're making on this particular VM, you can roll back whenever you want. So you're trying something new, and in the previous example when we were doing Docker and Ubuntu, there was a problem we faced when we tried to run a couple of commands together and it did not get installed. So we had to roll back to the image. We had to go back to the previous image, ran the last part of code where we literally drop the VM, recreate it again, right, and then run the command. Things like that happen a lot, and as the project gets complicated, we are in a pretty early stages of what proxmox can do and what all you can do with Docker and all that. There are a lot of the next video would be for media stack. How can you create the whole media stack where you can download all the stuff, automatically get organized without doing stuff in a different way. Right? It's much faster, much simpler deployment. Configuration is super easy. and I'll explain that part in the next one. But before you get there, it's become important because there will be mistakes as part of deployment, and sometimes environment can get corrupted, and we want to be in a position to roll back, retry the steps so that we can make it work. So having said that, let's move on to the next tab. Back to online, we can see, let's run the snapshots again. It seems we came out of proxmox, so let's connect again. Now we're here in the proxmox, so that's the snapshots. Let's confirm where we are. We're at pre-media stack. Let's start the VM. Give it a minute to come back. As you can see, VM came by, so let's connect now to the virtual machine. So we are under media stack. Let's do ls. There are no folders here, so we're gonna make some test changes, which we can roll back and test out that this thing actually does work. We create a test folder, create a file. I'm gonna add some content to the file, and let's check the folder is there. The content is the file content is there. Let's go back, cd back to the sltr. If you do, you can see the folders around it. Now let's let's see second part of the change, Docker images, and we can see in the previous section we created the default Docker installation and created this test image. So we can see this is up and running. So we wanna, this image is there, so we wanna get rid of this image because this was a test setup. So we can see the image ID is container ID, and if I put container ID, I wanna stop it, which is probably already stopped. Wanna remove it. So I deleted the container, and at this point, if you run docker PSA, you don't see anything. Now let's remove the image, and before I remove the images, let's run the command again. So confirm, see, there is an image, and with this command, image will be deleted. All these part is deleted, and now image command is empty. With that, we exit. So we made quite number of changes, right? So we created a folder, created a file, add some content to it, and cleaned up the Docker image and all that. Turned out there was a problem. We missed a step, and now we want to go back to the previous stage when we started working on it. We already know that we have a snapshot here. So let's check the snapshot. Pre-media stack, what we want is we want to go back to this time so we can make the changes correctly. So this is the command we'll be running. This is gonna roll back the changes. Sorry, bad command. Okay, so we're gonna roll back the changes, and on top of that we'll wait for it to stop. Let's delete that. That's sufficient, and we can see the changes completed. After that, we can start the VM. Okay, VM. While VM is starting, you can see we'll be back once it's up. Okay, VM is back up. So let's go ahead and check the snapshot. We still have the snapshot pre-media, but we just roll back. So hopefully we are at this point. So all our changes we made should be lost. Let's connect to the VM. Run our first command. We don't see any folders. All folders are gone back. Let's see if image we deleted might came back. So that's a good sign. Docker PS. You can see image. There is a container already there. So all the changes we made, deleted the Docker image and all that, it's gone. We reverted back to the previous stage, and that's the best part of snapshot. It's a very, very quick way to create a pointer. After that, any change you make, you can roll it back and get it done, right? This allows you to very, very quickly do the development or deployment for your application. and able to figure out what are the things you're missing, right? That's why Docker is so popular, that you can do things very, very quickly. And I'll show you in terms of Docker how it works and how quickly you can do those things. But in the end, if OS, you're making a lot of changes, and there's a point where it's like, I want to go back, I want to run my runbook again and make sure my scripts are working, right? So with that, let's exit this folder. Let's check the snapshot. Okay, pre-media stack is there. So now what we want is, this time we want to do another round of changes. We want to make some changes, and then we want to save the changes. Save means we want to delete the snapshot. Rather than rolling back, this time things worked out the way we wanted. So we want to save the changes so that after that, whatever change we make, we can roll it back, right? So every time you're at a point where you're like gonna run a code or do a deployment where you think things can get messy and it can, undo some previous functionality, and you want to make sure that you have a way to, go back to that state. That's where to use the snapshots, right? And once you create the snapshot, you don't want to keep it, up for a long time. The idea of snapshot is that every change you're making after you create the snapshot, that is being logged into another place. So you need that much space. And then whenever you say that the snapshot should be, rollback, in that case, every change has to be played back into the system, into the original virtual machine file. And that is a very costly activity, especially if your VMs are huge in the size and all that. That's where it matters the most. This is test environment. Last time we shut down the VM and did it. Now we are doing the live changes, and then we're gonna delete the changes on the live environment, and we'll see how it works. So I connect to the machine. Let's check. We're back in the same place. Hello world is there, and I don't want hello world to be there. So I'm gonna stop the container, the similar command we ran. I'm gonna delete the image, and all that is gone. And if we run the command delete images, we can see no images. Now, in the next series, I'm gonna show you how to install Sonar, Jellyfin, Radar, Transmission, Checker, and how they basically work with each other to help you streamline your media library. But to do that, if you run the Docker command, it's going to pull up all the images as you create. Run your Docker compose file. And with that, we're going to download these files. Let's do it. So at this point, Docker is downloading those images. And since those images are already downloaded, in the next video, we will be able to basically build up the new containers very quickly, roll back, make changes, test them out, and configure those environments, as well as save the configuration, so that all the connections you made between Radar, Sonar, Jellyfin, they all talk to each other, transmission, check it. You will be able to make them, save them, create a snapshot after that, or take a backup of the VM, and that way you can bring it up anytime. Alright, so let's wait for it to download. Alright, so Docker image download is completed. Let's validate. Images are good, so we can see all these images are installed. Great news. And now we want to see if anything else is running on the Docker. Right now nothing is running, so we deleted the hello world image, test image container, as well as that. So now let's exit it out. Back to our proxmox server. Let's check the snapshot. So last time we did the rollback with pre-media stack. At this point, I feel we're in a good spot. We reached to a stage where we should take a backup. Otherwise, we'll have to download these files again and again, and it's probably going to take 5 gig or 4 gig or whatever the space it takes. So I'm gonna delete this snapshot because I don't need to roll back, and I want to create a new snapshot with the right name to cover this particular place. F8, and we deleted the snapshot. We can confirm it. by running the command again. And we can see no more snapshots are there. But I want to, and this is something we are doing live right now, and I'm going to create snapshot this time. I'm calling it post image download. So at this point, everything looks good up to this extent. And if I need to go back, I just want to go back to post image. And then we can connect to the system. We can check the Docker PS looks good. No container running, Docker images should show us all the images we downloaded. So that's amazing. And you can see how fast the development is going on. This is like 4 hours ago, 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 10 days. This is like pretty much, keep updating these images. So developers are doing amazing work. This is open source world, so awesome. So everything is there. We created the post image download and we checked our folders and all that are gone. So we are ready for the next video. At this point, you learn how to take the snapshot, when to take the snapshot, and when to roll back and when to delete. This is something we're going to be using for the rest of the series all the time to roll back anytime something goes wrong and we're not able to figure it out what, right? So the good idea is just go back to that point, do it again, slowly figure out where the things are missing, change those steps, perfect those steps, and then keep going until you're able to sort it out. Hope that helps, and don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video with your friends. Thank you very much.